For local news on air and online, abbeyfm.co.uk.
Live across the Furness Peninsula then, it is Bill with you right through till 2 o'clock. Abbey FM's late night phone in. Doesn't matter what you want to talk to me about tonight, it could be absolutely anything you like. We have been looking at some items in the news, some items such as the, what do they call it, the mosquito we've been talking about. And it's an anti-teen device. The question put to you is, should the anti-teen device be banned? It's a high-pitched device used to disperse teenagers, and they're saying it should be scrapped because it infringes their human rights, according to a Children's Commissioner for England. Do you actually agree with this? Would love to hear your comments on this tonight. Does the device breach the human rights? Do you think it has worked in your community? Are teenagers being treated unfairly? Would love to know about that one. Or do the kids play on the fact that you can't touch them and they get the police on you if you get arrested? That's another one that was mentioned. Also in the news this week, the attacks on innocent firefighters and the emergency services. We mentioned it last week when we were talking about ambulance drivers. This week, the turn of the fire brigade. The number of violent attacks on firefighters has gone up in England and Wales, according to the Fire Brigades Union. What should be done to protect fire crews? And we'd love to have your views on that one. A little bit closer to home, the new controversial one-way system in Barrow is going to be put to the test when it actually goes live on the 9th of March. Your views, comments on that. In fact, absolutely anything you like tonight. If you can get to a telephone, then you need to get in touch with us by calling 0871 900 1073. Or if you can't get to a phone tonight and you'd like to have your comment heard, then you can text it in and we will read it out for you tonight. It's 07919 261 847 on the text. Of course, you can email tonight as well. It's studio@abbeyfm.co.uk. Love to hear from you. The lines are open right now.
Bill Clark.
107.3 Abbey FM.
So one or two texts coming in already. We're actually talking about the anti-teen device. Just hello to Dave in Millham tonight. He's been on the text. Says, sorry, can't phone in. Busy at work. One of the answers he puts is get the police away from dual carriageway speeder detection and back into our towns and cities. Give them back the power to give the kids a thick ear and just stop the problem the old-fashioned way. Bob's been on the phone to me tonight. Doesn't want to come on the air, but he's in Harcourt. Bob Morrison says, does this mean we'll need to raise the minimum age for the police to 25? Otherwise, they won't be able to deal with youth disorder situations effectively. You see, the mosquito will be distracting and irritating the young police officer as well as the alleged offenders. A very, very good point. We discussed this on Abbey FM's Abbey Tonight, one of the days last week. Abbey FM's Rosie Hillman has more information.
The mosquito. It looks like a metal box and attaches to the side of buildings, and when activated it sends out noise at a high frequency which people over the age of 20 just can't hear. It increases in intensity until it gets so unpleasant youngsters will move on to get away from it. These people think it's a great invention.
If it's going to cure the trouble, you know, we all want that, I think.
I suppose it keeps the pest away as such.
Maybe the people that lives around here can live in peace. It's an excellent idea and I'm all for it.
But England's Children's Commissioner is unhappy because all young people are affected whether they've behaved badly or not. He's launched the Buzz Off campaign to try to get them banned. Rob Williams works with him.
There is a problem with antisocial behaviour. We know that. Young people know that. But the way to deal with it is not to set up a machine which doesn't target those who misbehave. It blankets everybody under the age of 20.
Youngsters in the town of Corby in Northamptonshire have already run a successful campaign to get the mosquitoes turned off. Barry is from there and says the effects are very unpleasant.
It just makes my eardrums feel like stinging pain in my eardrums, and it just creates a pain in my head.
It's not the first time the gadget's been criticised. Scotland's Children's Commissioner has described the device as sinister, and human rights group Liberty say there should be no place for it in a civilised society. But makers Compound Security Systems say it just needs to be used responsibly. They've been asking the government and police to introduce a fair use policy. Simon Morris from the firm says there's clearly a need for it.
When people are actually killed because they've had the nerve to stand up for themselves against a group of feral teenagers, then you have to wonder, are we going too far with some civil rights issues?
An estimated 3,500 of the devices are already in use in areas like parks and near shops.
So do you actually agree with this then, or disagree? Mary on Rysdale Road tonight says the device exists because we have failed to tackle the root causes of the whole youth problem. People have such devices because we as a country are not prepared to spend anything on providing for teenagers. Apparently Gordon can find 24 billion for Northern Rock's mess quite easily, so why not the kids and also the pensioners as well? Good point, Mary. If you've got a point you'd like to make on that tonight or any other issue whatsoever, do get in touch with me and come through on the telephones direct. 0871 900 1073, or you can text in tonight as well and we'll put your point across for you on 07919 261 847. Love to have one or two people on the call to maybe thrash this one out or put your own opinion through. Waiting for your phone calls right now. So it's Abbey FM's late night phone in with Bill. One or two texts coming in tonight as well. We're talking about the anti-teen device, a mosquito. Should it be banned? Laura Johnson in Urswick tonight. Thank you very much for getting in touch with us. She says, you are still talking about us as though we were animals. She's one of the younger age group. And she goes on to say, the problem is not the teenagers, it's the availability of alcohol, drugs and tobacco. It's an old story, but I'd blame the parents. She says, mine brought me up so that if I ever went out and vandalised a phone box, they'd disown me. However, on the other hand, I wouldn't say teenagers have nothing to do. I do 3 A-levels and the work alone from those keeps me up every night owing to the fact that I have a job. Thank you very much for that one for Laura in Urswick. On the phone line at the moment, who have I got on line 1? Is it Craig?
No, you've got Wynne here.
Hello, Wynne. How are you? How are you doing? I'm sorry, I thought I had Craig on line 1.
Oh, fine. Right. No, I'm fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. I was just listening into the show there, and you're on about various problems going on in the country.
Yeah.
I was absolutely horrified about the new plan that they've got for the NHS services, where they're doing or trying to do away with practices with only one GP in them. And they're trying to make all these things into polyclinics, a one-stop health shop. Well, how on earth, what about the little villages where they only have one doctor in them? Are the village people going to have to get a bus out to the main town or somewhere?
Well, the thing is, if you're ill and you need to see a doctor, I mean, let's face it, if you're well enough, you don't want to see the doctor. And if you're ill, you're not going to be able to actually travel anyway, are you? We hit on this last week, talking about doctors having to work the extra hours.
Yeah.
And it's meaning surgeries being open to suit people around their work hours. But then the argument came that doctors need holidays and a break as well. I mean, one of the things is would you like to be treated at 10 o'clock at night by an overworked doctor who's been at the job all day and is tired? You know, mistakes can be made.
I think it's disgusting the way they treat them. Everything is extra money worked out for the government spending on it. It's all going to cost money for this thing. You're not going to see your own doctor if you go into one of these health clinic things. How can you talk to him? How can you feel confident that you're going to get the right treatment because he doesn't actually know you as such, not personally?
Well, one of the issues that was brought up last week is there is an out-of-hours doctor. You can actually ring the number, I think it's Baycall or Medicall or something like that. And you don't get to see your own doctor, but there is an out-of-hours doctor available. But the thing is, my point is if everybody's going to be seeing one doctor after so many hours, you know, after certain hours at night, during the day you can see your own doctor and it's spread out. But there again, trying to get an appointment within the space of a week is not an easy task in some places.
Well, my surgery only has one doctor, and I can honestly say over the years I've never, ever had any problem trying to get in to see him at all. But, as I say, these ones, we've got 3 or 4 doctors, maybe 5 or 6 that use the clinic, and everything else, the nurses and goodness knows what with them all. They do tend to have to wait a long period to see them.
So let me ask you a question. What would you like to see happen about the doctors?
Carry on as they are and cut the paperwork down for them. I think they've got enough to do with the doctoring without all the damn paperwork and meeting targets and all this sort of thing.
Love it, absolutely love it. Straight to the point and straight out with it. That's what I like to hear. Carry on as they are. They've got enough work to do as it is. They don't need any more. And the more work they take on, the more mistakes are likely to be made. And it's fairly obvious, isn't it? If they want a doctor out of hours, they can get one by ringing the Baycall or the Medicall. And worse than that, if it's an emergency, there's always 999, isn't there?
Exactly. But when it comes to the doctor being poorly, who looks after the doctor?
Another doctor.
Yeah, if you can get in to see him,
But the thing is then, you're taking that doctor away from other patients as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a catch-22 position, isn't it, going round...
It's the old saying, saying, position heal thyself.
Win, I'm going to have to move on.
Fine.
I've got another call on the line. You can stay there if you like, and I'll bring you back in on another debate, or you can hang up. It's entirely your choice.
Fine, I'll hang up. I've had my little groan for the night.
No problem. If you want to ring back, you're welcome to.
Right.